All right, so we do have some big updates in regards to MLB expansion with Rob Manfred coming out and saying that pretty shortly MLB expansion will happen after the Rays and the Athletics situation. They're basically admitting it at this point. And how about Portland, the city? They're really upping their expansion game. They're coming out with new renderings. You can see the recent ones kind of with, looks like apartments to the side of them. They've got that futuristic feel with the greenery on the roof as well. Portland MLB effort boosted by Mayor and also the Athletics move. You can see some of the renderings of Portland right there. I showed this in another video, but it wasn't technically an expansion video, so perhaps some people didn't see it. They're also weirdly obsessed with this carousel. They had like 4 or 5 random renderings of a carousel with a bunch of greenery on top. The whole greenery thing to me with like the green roofs, it just looks so ugly. I mean, these people, it's like they want it both ways. They want to live in a city, but then they want all this green stuff, and you get like overgrown mossy roofs. It just does not look good. I'm sorry, but we'll see what happens. You can see that is their new ballpark design. The other thing I wanted to get to, these are the updated odds. So the interesting thing here, you've still got Nashville far and away, around 36% chance at getting an expansion team. But now we have seen Salt Lake City move into second place, plus 350, 22% chance. They're the clear favorite in terms of from the western part of the United States to get an expansion team over Portland. Portland at plus 650, Montreal a long shot, San Antonio a really long shot, the rest of the field at plus 525. Maybe Austin, Texas jumps in as part of the rest of the field with a chance there. But I would say if you're talking about one city from the eastern side of the United States, it's going to be Nashville. And then Salt Lake City from the west, those are the two favorites. Both of those do have different renderings. Salt Lake City has an open ballpark. Nashville has a retractable roof. It's kind of weird they don't have Orlando listed in the overall odds, considering, Orlando does have pretty impressive renderings. They've got an entire district to where they've got the ballpark with the translucent roof, and then they've got a big mall attached to the ballpark. It is a weird looking configuration in terms of kind of looks like a telescope when you look at it, almost like maybe that's one of those things in SpongeBob, where you catch jellyfish, something like that, a little catcher, and then they have some random, this is a very odd thing. They've got like man-made little ponds right next to the highway. Is that a highway? It's just kind of strange, but yeah, and then there's the Salt Lake City one. We're really hoping for updated renderings on the Salt Lake City ballpark. This gives us nothing. This looks like a minor league. Maybe you paid a kid $500 to create this. Come on, let's put some effort into it. Salt Lake City, I'm rooting for them. They could do something really good with a potential MLB expansion team, utilizing the scenery, the great mountains, but we need a legitimate rendering. It looks like they got the design from some kid at an elementary school. They really need to update it. And then once again, you can see the Portland one. Right now, it does look like it's coming down to Salt Lake City, Portland. Maybe you can say Montreal. There's a few renderings. This was a while ago, but this is a weird, I almost want to call it Leaf-type stadium in Montreal. Really kind of early renderings, almost a little inlet right next to it. I'm a sucker anytime there's water near a ballpark, so I do like that. But it looks like almost, two massive overhangs. Very strange design there. But that was kind of an early Montreal rendering. Right now, I would say it's Nashville and it's Salt Lake City as the two favorites for MLB expansion. Manfred has made his position known. What are the Rays going to do? There's about 3 options right now. Number 1, the Rays can get a new ballpark in the Tampa area. Number 2, the Rays can move to Orlando, and you would kind of keep that thing where Florida has 2 teams. You don't want to give Florida 3 teams because we've already got the Marlins and the Rays with big attendance issues. So you move the Rays to Orlando. There's a lot more foot traffic. There's a lot bigger of a population. It's a lot better in terms of stadium location. Or the third option is you move the Rays to Nashville. That's really the 3 options right now with the Rays, and I would say it's 50-50 they get a potential new stadium in the Tampa area. And then I thought this was mildly interesting. You can see the potential expansion cities listed by Wikipedia because this is such a, kind of big deal that's happening within MLB. Charlotte, Montreal, Nashville, Orlando, Portland, and Salt Lake City. The only city within this that doesn't have an actual proposal is Charlotte, and also you probably could say Montreal as well. At least recently they haven't released any stadium renderings. The one that I saw was like from 4 or 5 years ago, but they are kind of a lower tier option, I would say, at this point. And then the whole thing with Oakland trying to make a last-ditch effort to get the A's back. I'll probably cover this more extensively, but it is a huge thing. It's like 100 or 200 different pages they showed to the public about, the Oakland mayor coming out and saying we're trying to keep the A's. It's just not going to happen at this point. All they need is the MLB owner's approval. That seems extremely likely. I'm sure there'll be a few hang-ups. There always are with something like this. A relocation is a drastic thing. You have to think, where are they going to play? Even next year, are the Athletics going to play at the Coliseum? I've speculated and said, because the relationship is as bad as it is currently with the owner, John Fisher, and the A's fans, if you're talking about the Athletics playing at the Coliseum next year, we're talking about an opening day crowd of 10,000 people. And is that a product that MLB is going to want? Yes, if you go to the minor league park, it's going to be lower people just because the attendance at the minor league parks is bad. But still, it feels like it'd be a much better environment. But that is just my opinion on that. And then we do have some updates. The MLB All Star Game could use more excitement. But how does that happen? Nix the AL versus NL, designate team captains. Oh my goodness. So looks like they want to turn the MLB All Star Game into the NBA All Star Game. I just think this is dumb. The NBA completely ruined theirs. And the NBA is actually, they're changing it back to East versus West. So keep the AL, NL. Although I will say, the lineups for the All Star Game, really underwhelming, especially the AL lineup. It's because it's fan voted, I get that, but Jesus, man. And then designate team captains, I don't know. I guess you could do it for a few seasons, but the NBA tried this and it's a joke. The NFL and their Pro Bowl is basically done. I don't think the Pro Bowl exists anymore. The NBA All-Star Game's a joke. Really, MLB is the only one to where NHL is really bad too, but like MLB, you kind of have to try because it's not like a pitcher's just going to throw 80-mile-per-hour fastballs down the plate. And then we do have how to fix the home run derby. No pairs, all players hit, eliminate 4, then 2, then the final. No time clock, it's rushed, can't enjoy the bombs, make it 10 outs. Buddy, you listen, all you need to do with the home run derby, yes, there should be no time. The whole idea of a home run derby is to hit the ball 600 feet. That's what I want to see. Why is Mookie Betts in the home run derby? Mookie Betts is a great player. He should not be in the home run derby. My cat weighs more than Mookie Betts. Why is he's not a home run hitter? I'm sorry. He hits 380-foot wall scrapers that barely get over. We don't need to be seeing that. A home run derby, I want dudes that may or may not be on steroids. I want to see the ball go 600 feet. Rather than see these guys who weigh like 120 pounds, and it just doesn't. These are not home run hitters. We're not seeing home run hitters. That's the biggest problem. And then, yes, the whole time thing where it's rapid fire, it got so bad with the home run derby, they can't even show the camera like where the ball actually goes because it's constant pitch. The guys are getting tired out. They're not going to hit it far because they're swinging every 3 seconds. They can barely lift up the bat at the end of it. It's just a horrible format. It's not what the home run derby was supposed to be. And listen, if you want to make one change when it comes to the All-Star Game, at least do this for me. And this is kind of like a mainstream talking point, but come on. Why don't you just go back to their original jerseys? The NBA's had the same problem to where these leagues, they want to make more money. Buy the All-Star jersey. They're all matching. I mean, what is that helmet? It's like they took a random normal font with a letter and a little outline, and that was the full extent of it. That's like me trying to make a thumbnail 2 years ago. That's kind of what my thumbnails probably looked like, but there's just no effort into it, and it seems like that's the most obvious thing. This is two things right here, right now, that will definitely help the All-Star Game. Actually, they need to remove fan voting. I'm sorry. The fan voting, some of the players that were I understand Aaron Judge was injured, Mike Trout was injured, so the AL was kind of down, but still, some of the players that were starting, come on. How is Jose Ramirez not starting? Change the entire home run derby format. Let's actually put sluggers in the derby. Do not make it timed. We cannot enjoy long home runs if it's timed. That defeats the whole purpose. We don't want to see 355-foot dinky home runs down the line. Actually, we're not even seeing them because the pitches come in so fast. You don't even get to look and see where the ball it's just such a horrible format. So they need to completely change that and then allow the players during the All-Star Game, keep it AL versus NL, but allow the players to wear their own jerseys. That would make it significantly better. Those are the changes that I would make. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description.